What's going on, guys? JD at JD's Custom Buggies. It's crunch time. We got about 2 weeks, so been putting in a lot of extra hours here at the shop. One of the things I was trying to get done was something that's been on my mind for a while, which is some way to help preserve the back of the motor. It's not unusual that the back of the cases break. It's happened to a couple of us during racing. I've made some case saver mounts that kind of incorporate into the original fork mount that bolts into the back of the motor. I'm just trying to build a better mousetrap here, so this is one thought I had. I had some pieces made up. I got a friend who's got a laser table down the street, and I shot an idea by him, and he just cut them out for me real quick. So this is completely strictly a prototype deal. We're going to try it out and test it in racing like we do with most of the stuff before it ever gets considered to put on the website. So Christian Campo, as most of you know, saw the interview or the little chat we had. He had dropped off his motor last Sunday. He's got a broken case, but the motor's still runnable. He wants me to go through it anyway, so we're just going to recase it. The thread stripped out of his chain tensioner, and motor came down and basically chipped the bottom. Not to say that the motor is still not usable, but if he wants me to go ahead and go through the whole thing for the race season, then we might as well recase it, which is what we're going to do. So I had mentioned this idea to him, and that I had an idea that might help preserve the back of the case, and he told me to go for it. So I had a couple of these made up. I'm going to pretty much test them on his and mine. I'm building a motor for myself, rebuilding his motor, so there's a little bit of modification that needs to be done to the back of the motor. So it's basically why I'm doing it, because I'm building these two. So what I'm going to do is kind of turn the camera around. We'll show you what's going on. I'll explain it to you, and then I'm going to show it to you before I install it, and then after I install it, and you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. Alright. So of course, this is Christian's because I painted it John Deere green, like the rest of his buggy, so it's going to match his flavor of color and motif there. So what I did was this. There is an original. I'm going to grab one real quick. So there is, they have come up with an idea on some buggies. You might see a piece like this, which is supposed to be some sort of support, extra support. And what happens is it lines up with these holes here, and now I drilled all these holes in here. So it has two bolts that hold it here, and then the hanger sleeve slides through there, so it's kind of gripping. But there's nothing keeping from all of this from just breaking away if there's enough pressure. So what I did was this. Figure out which end is up. Okay. So this is a piece of 3/8 steel. And hold on, I might have it upside down. Give me a second. Yes, I do. Alright, now my holes line up. Alright, so basically on a GY6 machine there is a motor. There's a brake pin that goes in here, and it actually bolts into the nut is on the other side. It's got no ring. It basically gets nutted into your gearbox. So I removed that, drilled it and tapped it out for a 1/2 inch fine thread bolt. I actually drilled and tapped that guy too, and also what's drilled and tapped is this one here, and then these two basically match up with that guy. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have the sleeve, which basically sits in here. Now this bolt here and this bolt here are actually in the gearbox. So I don't want them, they can't stick out too much. They have to clear all the gears and bearings and whatnot. I don't think it's going to be an issue, but this is going to be the first time I've actually installed it. So what we'll do is when we come back, we'll see what we got. See you in a little. Alright, pretty cool. We got it in. Wasn't too difficult. A couple changes I might make in the future just to make it, putting it together a little easier, but so let's show you what I got. So as you can see, these are the two bolts that kind of go on the stock deal. Alright, but because I have these two bolts here, it can't really rip. And what I did is I kind of moved this up. When I gave the measurements for them, I told them I needed like a 5-inch circle, which would have fit here with a little bit of gap all the way around. And I think the measurement I took was like 2 1/16. Obviously, it was a little bit of a guesstimate. So what I did was I kind of favored the ring up, so it's actually supporting the lower half of this guy, and you know, putting the weight on the lip of that. Not to mention we have 4 bolts holding it through, and the one here where the hanger goes. Now you can see the little sleeve in there. Sleeve fits in there perfect. Now I'll show you what it looks like on the back side in the gearbox. So the brake pin nut is here. Like I said, I'll do things different as I go. What I did was tapped it out to a 7/16 fine threaded bolt, and to realize I didn't have any 7/16 fine threaded nuts. So I wanted to have a nut on the other end, so the only way to go was up. So it's actually a 1/2-inch bolt holding it with fine threads. I actually put a rubber O-ring underneath the nut on the shaft, and I did Teflon these 2 bolts here. They have liquid Teflon on them when I ran them through, which also works pretty good as like a Loctite also, but that should seal the threads to keep any gear lube from going out. That I've done before, modifying scooter cases and stuff like that, so should not be an issue. So now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and start building this motor. I need to knock this one seal out, and then I have a completely clean case out, or completely clean case, and then I'm going to start installing transmission bearings and get that part together. Christian's motor is basically over here on the floor. So what I'm doing is I'm just basically going to run through everything, make sure that everything looks kosher, and I'm transferring all these parts into these new cases here with his brand new kind of race case. I guess that's what I'm going to plan on calling it. So we'll see how that works out. And it's John Deere green, so it should match the buggy. Alright, thanks a lot guys, appreciate it. If you don't mind, hit the like button if you like what you see. Hopefully you guys are enjoying everything, or at least learning from it. I never claim to be the smartest guy in the world, but whatever experience that I have, and I can pass on through these videos, it's kind of the plan. We're going to be doing some giveaways soon. We're at like 230 subscribers right now. At 300, we're going to give something away. As soon as we get a little closer, I'll probably make some sort of announcement. And there might be a couple of t-shirt giveaways in between there if you pay attention to the videos. At 500, we're going to give away a full performance CVT system composed of, let's see, we have an OCO variator and racing clutch with Banjing bell and drive face, and SSPG torque spring and SSPG shim kit, and a brand new Gates belt, premium belt. So I plan on giving that away at 500. At 300 and 400, we'll give away something substantial, and then between here and there, I like doing it, so we'll give away a couple t-shirts and whatnot as we go on. All right, we'll reach that 500 mark, and then we'll have to come up with something really special for 1,000, right? That's the goal, to get to 1,000. So anyhow, I appreciate everything, guys. The feedback's awesome. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I'll answer them best I can. And if you need parts, go to gotbuggies.com. That would be awesome. And you know, check us out on Facebook too. All right, you guys have a good one. See you.